He's in the car that Sandro Ballesteros raced last season, and he says he wants to be a GT racer. And there's a car in the pit lane, and at this point, I'm obliged to say, from Great Dunmow, Paul Offord in the pit lane.
All right, come on, Paul, you got to get this done. Here we go. Oh. Okay, let's get straight into this. We're going to start with qualifying. Now, I decided at this point to try and create a gap between me and the car in front. So if you notice, I'm short shifting, but this doesn't work out well because this was going to be my flying lap to try and get a decent qualifying time. But the problem here is that I've gone round clearways too slowly, which means that I'm going slow down this straight. Now I've got a good gap to Ethan, but we'll see that it doesn't work out that well. So let's let this play out a bit further. Just to explain, it was really tricky during both qualification sessions because there were loads of safety car periods, and in fact you only really got 2 or 3 flying laps in at any time. And when you looked at the starting grid, you had people who should be at the back of the grid were like in the top 10 because they just got lucky and got out there at just the right time. I mean, you know, you make your own luck, so I'm not complaining that, you know, that was my problem. But here, because I'm catching these guys so quickly, I decide I'm going to back off and try and have another flying lap, but I've backed off way too late because now I'm going even slower down the start finish straight. And bizarrely this turns out to be my fastest lap, even though, you know, I really messed up here. That's I don't know how else to put it. I think this idea that maybe you can back off and do a fast lap is all very well, but in these sorts of conditions when there are so many safety cars, then you just gotta go for it. Now my time, that 1:13.17, that is 6 seconds off of the pole sitter, Matt Highcock. He did a 1:07.50 something, I think. So yeah, a long way back. So as you can see, this plan has gone totally wrong. The lap's destroyed, and yeah, I'm not going to get a good time for this one. So that was it for qualifying. Well, problems started in the assembly area, so this is the rear view out of my car, obviously. The marshals were directing us into the correct positions in the assembly area. Now I thought the marshal who was directing me was keeping an eye on what was happening behind me, apart from nearly running that guy over. And I was watching her, and yeah, that wasn't so good. Now we've just left the start line. It doesn't catch the first part because it takes a while for the camera to start, but you can see we're well bunched up. I did hang back a little bit going into that first bend because I was expecting trouble, but it didn't come. Now my strategy was to stay on the inside, but we'll see that this is not a decent strategy. So I've already had one car go past me, and now I'm going to hit a real problem. So James is to the left of me, my teammate, and he got pushed wide, which pushed me wide, which meant that now not only have I lost 3 places just there, I've now lost speed, so you can see 2 more cars have gone past me. Well, there's one past me and there's one up the inside. Now I do start to get some of these back, as you can see, but my strategy for starts is still not right, and I was talking to Matt Highcock about it, and he said, oh, you've just got to attack straight away because it's the only way you can effectively defend yourself, by attacking everybody else. And I think he's quite right. I think I'm a bit too wary about damaging the car, but anyway, keep an eye on this number 105 just in front of us here. So I'm going to try and get him up the inside. Gosh. Yeah. So it made such a clouting noise that I thought there was something seriously wrong with the car, and I thought I was going to have to stop. And then to top it all, I don't think you could see from that shot, but he then nearly backed into me when he was trying to get off the track, or turn around or whatever. So now I'm driving, but quite clearly there's something wrong with the car. It's behaving quite strangely. So we go up here a bit, and I noticed it especially into Surtees here, and people were pointing at the car as well. So a bit of a giveaway. Okay, so I decide I've got to pit. This is not right. Yeah. To cut a long story short, what had happened was it hadn't done as much damage to the side of the car as I thought it had done, because I thought I'd got like perhaps bent suspension, bent steering arm or something. They couldn't figure out what was wrong, but it was on the other side of the car. So they now run around to look at the car and realise it's got a puncture. So the other car had sliced through the left front tyre, and so they're going to swap it out and get me back onto the track, but of course by now my race is done. So let's move on a bit. Okay, so we've now got a new tyre on. I'm a bit angry at this point, I have to say, and I'm not sure driving angry is a good idea. One of the things they said to me in the pits was you need to check that the car is okay, because they couldn't see anything else wrong, so that's why I was a bit strange going around Paddock Hill Bend there. But it was pretty obvious the car was fine. In fact, the following day we strung the car and it was still all aligned. Everything was just right. So yeah, tough little cars these. They can take a bit of a beating. So anyway, my lap time started to fall. I quickly got into the 101s and kept knocking chunks off of the time until I caught up with some cars. So let's see what happened when I caught up a bit. Okay, so it's taken me 3 laps to catch up, but bear in mind I'm 2 laps down, so I was so long in the pits getting the tyre changed, and it was an unscheduled pit stop anyway. But at least I've got some people to chase. I mean, there's no point in just poodling around on your own. I thought I'd have to have a go and see if I could race some people, so this was quite good fun. Let's watch how this pans out. Now this is James Cannon driving this car, 83, and he's firm but fair, and he's quite tricky to overtake. I've had a number of battles with him, and he's overtaken me and I've overtaken him, so this is good stuff. He's defending well. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. I don't know why I lifted a bit. He's let him get away from me. If you notice, the gap's opened up a bit, and yeah, it's a bit silly really. Okay, yeah, getting closer. Let's keep watching. That was strong defence. Okay, what's the mistake I've made here? Too far back, going for an overtake that was never going to work. And of course I've lost a load of time because I was way too tight into Graham Hill Bend there. Scott Mansell lesson 101. Don't try and overtake when you can't overtake. Okay, James has given me a bit more space that time, but it still hasn't worked out all that well. It's surprising how much you slow going up this hill into Druids. Yeah, and now I've not got an optimal line round there. Yeah, he's putting up a good fight. Alright, come on Paul, you got to get this done. Just do it. Okay, here we go. Oh no! Cat and mouse. Oh dear, yeah, this is painful to watch. It shouldn't have taken this long. We did just go past a car, didn't we? Number 41, which, well, it should be Tristan, but Tristan, what I found, is much faster. Here we go. Oh, oh dear. Yeah, Tristan is a newcomer to the 4040 team. He's stepped straight into the car and he's doing really competitive times. I think he had a problem actually, if I remember rightly, which is probably why we just breezed past him. Here you can see I've taken a much wider line, trying to get a later apex into clearway so I get more speed coming out, and it seems to have worked. Oh, yeah, he went to defend left and luckily I managed to sneak past him. Okay, that was a good battle, that was good. Okay, this was a fair bit further on, and although I'm catching this guy slowly in front, the battle with James has held us both up, and you know, there's quite a gap has developed to the next person, and sadly there just aren't enough laps in the race for me to do any better. And there's the checkered flag. So as you see there, my fastest lap was a 1:01.23, and I did quite a few 1:01s when I got out from behind people, and I had some free air. But really I should be doing sub 61 seconds because I had done that a few times in practice last week, so it's good, but it's not yet consistent enough to keep banging in the sub 61 second laps, which is what I need to do. Anyway, let's move on to the second race. So we had a different qualification session for this race, and I was placed 28th on the grid. Now this is the first start, and let's just watch what happens.
Trying to make amends for the camber on the track there by just lining his car up in a slightly skew width manner.
Yeah, he's the one that gets to go downhill, which is helpful.
Yep.
So the field in place, lots of novice crosses on the grid, lots of drivers in their first ever race weekend here at Brands Hatch. The green flag has already been waved, the 5-second board has been shown, the red lights are on now, and the race gets underway. Who's going to make a good start? One hasn't got away from the third row, that's Daniel Scott, and he gets clobbered. We thought it was coming, it took a lot longer than I thought it might do, so we may well get another stoppage unless they can get back going. Red flag indeed, so it's just 11 seconds of racing. Hopefully everybody sees the reds.
Yeah, that was particularly disastrous for Dan Scott and the guys driving the Barlow car, which is a particularly nice car actually. Now this is the restart. You can see the weather's worsened at this point, and this one turns into a bit of a disaster for me, as you'll see in a second.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
So everyone's almost back, and let's hope we continue. Somebody's asked on the live stream, will this get rained off? No, I think we're going to carry on. As I say, because these cars don't kick off as much spray as International Motorsport is.
So you see the grey car in the middle there, sort of in front of me, if you can see me. He's out of position, he should be further forward. I've pulled into position and now he's started to reverse on the grid. And he reverses just as the race starts and I'm totally hemmed in. I can't get past him. And that puts me absolutely last. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's just, I suppose it's just one of those things, but God, it was a trying weekend. Or the Saturday was trying. I must say, I didn't enjoy this. I didn't enjoy sprint racing anyway that much, and I didn't have a lot of luck. I mean, some of it was my own doing, and past this point my driving wasn't brilliant, and so I really struggled to make up places.
On the inside there, did he?
That's right. That's potentially for new racers or inexperienced racers, that's what they're finding.
As you can see, the conditions were pretty bad. So where are we here? We're 2 laps in. I'm fiddling with traction control because I had it on full traction control and I wanted to set it on the second setting, which is called DTC, which I think it, rather than the full dynamic stability control, it just controls wheel spin. And that's the setting most people use, I think. Probably not the front runners actually, but most of the people in the pack use that setting because, you know, it does save you a bit from doing something stupid and ending up spinning. I was able to keep up here, but yeah, I really struggled finding a way through, and you know, it was so tricky, it really was. And it was so important to get that good qualification position, you know, which I didn't get really. And so what with the poor position, 28 out of 32, and then having the guy reverse towards me at the start, that pretty much did for this race as well, which is pretty disappointing. I was so excited to go racing, you know. It's been a long break from, you know, from October last year right round to April this year, and I was really looking forward to it, but Saturday was very disappointing. Luckily Sunday the trophy race was much better, and I'll cover that in another video. But just to summarise what happened here, at the end I came second last, so I overtook James, who's in front of me right now in the lime green car. He was struggling. He had a double amount of pressure in that his co-driver for the trophy race was flying back from Spain just to drive on the Sunday, and he was determined not to smash the car up. So, and you can see this guy's just gone past me. I mean, I'm not doing well here anyway. So all in all, it's a bit of a disaster, but I do pick up a couple of places. The only trouble is, if you look at the final positions, you'll find that I was listed as DNF, and that was because I had a transponder issue. I'd had an issue all through the day. The transponder is mounted in the right place, it was working, I got the race control people to check it, but for some reason it wasn't registering on the timing system, and after giving me a bye for 2 qualifications and 1 race, they decided they weren't going to let me go for another race without the transponder, so I was DNF'd. But quite honestly, as I finished second last or somewhere near that, I'm not sure I really care. So that's it. That was my Saturday. Would I go sprint racing again? Actually, I'd pre-registered for further sprints in the series, but I'm not sure I'm going to do them. I think at the moment I'm just not quite fast enough, or I don't get fast enough quick enough, and at the moment I'm losing too many places at the start. So I think inevitably it's going to mean I'm going to fall back. I'm much better at trophy racing at the endurance racing because I like the strategic side of it as well. I enjoy that bit, and you can try different strategies, and that's good fun, and it seems to work for me. I do seem to gain places just through sheer strategy choice. So, but there was some good stuff out of this. I mean, I did enjoy the battle with James. That was good fun, and I had a couple of other overtakes in the first race. I don't get on well in the wet at the moment, so there's certainly room for improvement there, but that's something I can practice, you know. So I hope you found that interesting, and I'll catch you on the next one.